What's happening, ladies and gents? So let's talk about mindset when it comes to carrying a weapon with you. Now, first and foremost, you guys know here at JM Training, we are anti-violence advocates. We believe in living a very peaceful lifestyle, avoiding conflict at all costs. But if push comes to shove and you need to defend yourself, then obviously stand your ground, defend yourself, be a man, be a woman, and do not let somebody just walk all over you. With that being said, keep these fundamental things, these actual practical things in mind as you go throughout your day, and it will help reinforce this conceptual idea of staying positive and being a good contributing member of society. Remember that when we are kind and polite, it actually serves as a security mechanism, holding the door open for people, telling people hi as you meet and greet them as you walk by on the street and on the sidewalk. All of these little things add up, and there's a lot of neuroscience behind it all as to why they will ultimately contribute to your safety. And so you want to make sure that you're being kind, being polite, implementing these practical tips that you could use every single day. You do it enough, it becomes a habit, and therefore you become safer and your kids become safer as well because they see what you do and they emulate your behavior. So the first thing that I want to just remind you all of is most people are good people. Don't go walking around thinking that head on a swivel, can't trust anybody. That's not true. The vast majority of people are really good people. They're just maybe not the kindest. Maybe they're just dealing with hard times. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's got stuff that they're dealing with. So really quickly on mindset, I do want to touch on something called the rule of the 5s and 25s. If you haven't heard me talk about this before, this is everything you need to know to actually have good situational awareness. We're going to talk about how you actually develop it. But first, let's watch this quick video, and I want to see if you could identify how many times the team in white passes the ball back and forth to each other. Again, see if you can count how many times the team in white passes the ball back and forth.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
All right, what answer did you get? If you answered 13, good job, you are correct. Now, my other question to you is, did you see the moonwalking dancing bear go across the middle of the screen? Maybe some of you did, but probably most of you didn't. So we're going to rewatch this video really quickly, and now I want you to be able to identify the moonwalking dancing bear that goes across the screen.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
How obvious is that to you now? So if you didn't see it before, but you see it now, why didn't you? It's because of something called the reticular activating system. That's a bundle of neurons in our brain that's associated with what we deem important or unimportant. Information that we allow to get filtered in and information that we filter to keep out. You cannot activate this part of the brain if you do not know what it is that you're looking for. And that's the importance of having this type of training and education like you guys are doing in Lethal You, so that you can consistently be primed and programmed to be aware of a couple of certain characteristics of behavior. And that in itself is going to be enough to keep you safer than 99% of the people out there, because most people, as you saw in this picture here, are completely unaware. Completely unaware of their surroundings. Now, the team in white is made to represent your goals, the things that you have to get done throughout the day. The team in black is designed to be like distractions, social media, stupid emails, things like that. The moonwalking dancing bear is designed to be potentially harmful behavior, PHBs. Potentially harmful behavior because it doesn't necessarily mean just because somebody exhibits it once or twice that it is criminal intent, but as we'll talk about here shortly, you'll see it does quickly add up. It's something we call stacking the deck. And when you get to 3 anomalous, nefarious, or obvious type behaviors, it becomes pretty evident that this person has criminal intentions and you should do certain things to keep yourself or your loved ones safe. So the goal from this training is that you will be capable of identifying certain characteristics and behavior associated with potentially harmful behavior, knowing when that potentially harmful behavior is adding up to have criminal intent, and ultimately see the moonwalking dancing bear throughout your daily life while still being able to accomplish your goals and your dreams. Now, let's watch this video. You can see this woman in her car fueling up on her phone. This guy walks past, kind of looks over to her, meanders back. He's gonna signal to his buddies here, come on over. But she doesn't even notice this guy until he puts his hands on her physically. And that's how inundated we can be within our mobile devices, within our phones. He straight rips her out the car. His buddies come in, and then they end up taking off. That's an example of horrible situational awareness. And when we talk about situational awareness and mindset, there's only 3 things we're looking for here, ladies and gents: where to look, when to look, and what it is that we're looking for. This is where the rule of 5s and 25s comes into play. If you could hit someone with a stone, stay off your phone. Look people in the face and eyes as you pass them by, it could save your life. 5s and 25s is the circumference of a 5-meter circumference and a 25-meter circumference around you at any point in time. And so what I do is I liken this to Cooper's color code. For situational awareness, you have the white, yellow, orange, and the red, otherwise known as the unaware, aware, alerted, and engaging. Now, when it comes to unaware, the only time that we should ever do that is when we're at home sleeping or when we accidentally eat our Uncle Jimmy's chocolates at a Grateful Dead concert. We should not be in the white when we're walking about in something called a transitional or transitory space, i.e. sidewalk, public places, gas stations, like that one woman just was. She was an example of being in the white in a transitory space and in a gate, channel, or funnel or choke point being her car door. And so everything about that situation was wrong, and she was asking to get carjacked. So white is when you're at home, secured, going to bed, but you have complete lack of situational awareness around you. Now, the yellow, awareness. This is basically everything beyond the 25s, beyond that stone's throw, where if you are driving and you can see the car in front of you, maybe the make and model car behind you, but like later down the road coming to the intersection, these things are basically like blobs. You know that there's a vehicle there, you know something's there, but you're really just using your peripheral awareness more than anything. And so don't get the awareness aspect, too, granular, because you just want to know, is somebody there beyond that stone's throw? Dark, shadowy figures, etc. That's a good level of awareness beyond that stone's throw. Now, when it comes to the orange, so the alerted within that stone's throw, this is where we need to stay off of our phone and just engage with people, say hi, walking past them, etc. You don't really need to do that here, but you should at least know somebody's gender, race, the activity that they're performing, is it what you would expect, the company that they're keeping, and again, expectation. So I use the acronym GRACE. If somebody's passing within a stone's throw of you, then you should at least know, are they a guy or a girl? Are they black, white, Mexican, Asian, Indian, whatever? What are they doing? Like, are they meandering around a grocery store parking lot, or are they picking their kids up from school, like I would expect somebody to be doing? Are they with anybody, like by themselves, or with multiple people, a group of people, this person here, the other person across the street, they appear to be together. So that's really a perfect level of awareness when it comes to people walking within a stone's throw, 75 feet, 25 meters of a circumference around you. Now, when it comes to the engaging, so about 10, 15 feet, the 5s, this is where we actually do want to engage with somebody, where it's like, hey, how you doing? Good morning. What's happening? This is going to resonate with certain neural networks designed for survival in the brain, and it allows them to know that you know they're there. But it'll also allow you to create more distance if this person does have criminal intention. So engaging doesn't mean like engaging the deadly threat. It just means like, hey, how you doing? Now, lastly, the black, this is 1 arm's distance, or really 1 to 2 arms distances away. This is really important to maintain always, because this is within your reactionary gap, the minimum amount of physical distance required for you to actually respond to your external environment. For example, if somebody goes to punch me and they are within my reactionary gap, odds are I won't be able to dodge that, and I'll probably end up getting hit. But if they are 2 arms lengths away from me and they go to punch me, now I can at least do something to try to block or avoid or parlay or even counterstrike that person. And so whenever somebody's up on your personal space, you definitely want to make sure that you maintain that and get it back from them by creating more distance yourself. Remember, distance will always be your greatest ally when it comes to somebody trying to hurt you. Distance equals more time, which equals safety, ultimately. So now, when do we want to look in this 5s and 25 space? Well, it's pretty easy, guys. Out in public, transitory spaces or funnels and choke points or gates. That's what we just call gates, choke points, funnels. You see the tunnel there. You can see the car door. You want to do a quick scan of your 5s and 25s whenever you're heading into one of these areas or just passing through one, like a door at a grocery store. And then also when you're out at the park, when you're in parking lots, these are transitory spaces, gas stations. Just do a scan of your 5s and 25s. Engage with people as they walk past you. It's nothing too crazy. It's very simple to do. And now, what are we going to be looking for? Potentially harmful behaviors, PHBs. There are 3 types of PHBs: obvious, anomalous, and nefarious. And with this, we're going to stack the deck, and this is really where it starts to come into context in terms of like criminality or criminal intent. So here we have a guy at a gas station, transitory space, standing in front of a doorway, which is a gate in itself. And you'll notice that as somebody walks into the back here, he does a observation of his 5s and 25s, which is good. That's what he should do. And as he turns around, he sees gun being pointed. Okay, that's an obvious, potentially harmful behavior. Masks. Okay, that's, anomalous behavior. And then their overall demeanor coming in, making commands. 3 points and stacking the deck right there. Obvious, potentially harmful behavior. So high likelihood that there's some serious criminal intent here. Yes, you could deduce with the gun being pointed in your face and somebody screaming. You don't need 3 points. But my point is that very rarely have I ever found 3 points to not mean criminal intent. And I actually don't think I've actually found anything yet for 3 points. If you get 3 points and stacking the deck, and all of my research that I've done, which isn't endless but is consistent, and I'm always doing it, I've never yet found something that wasn't criminal once we hit 3 points. So what does he do? Well, he decides to close the distance and deflect the guy's gun, and then he tries to dominate him by fighting him, and ultimately nobody got hurt in that incident. Here's another example of some anomalous PHBs. Now you got 2 grown men meandering around in a grocery store parking lot late at night. That's somewhat anomalous. That doesn't mix in with the baseline of what you would expect people to be doing in a grocery store parking lot. They're either coming or going, especially at this time of night. Now let's say that this car up here, this black car, is your car, and you've got these 2 guys just wandering around, just singing or whatever the fuck they're doing. Highly unusual. Location, grocery store parking lot late at night. 2 military-age males, that's unusual. Meandering back and forth, that's unusual. Hanging around my car, that's unusual. So now we're at 4 points. They're splitting up, so again, anomalous behavior, that's unusual. And you got this guy coming in, and you'll notice what the criminals try to do immediately is they're going to try to close the distance. There's no reason anybody should ever be coming up to you at this point. I would have already started yelling at this dude, looked around, seen this other guy coming. I would have drawn my handgun. This guy doesn't have a handgun, though. He has some pepper spray. He ends up dropping his keys or something and somehow pulls out pepper spray and sprays these guys up a little bit. But he's also using it incorrectly. You shouldn't be spraying it and running at the same time. That's a good way to get it to come back into yourself. And he's lucky they didn't stomp him and freaking kill him. And then lastly, nefarious, potentially harmful behaviors. You can see this creep hanging out over here. This is more alike in a stalking. It's very easy to notice, or it's very easy to deter if you notice it early on. But if somebody keeps doing it longer and longer and longer, they're going to create some sick justification in their mind as to why they deserve it. And it becomes very dangerous to confront if it's been going on for quite some time. And you're more likely to notice somebody, we call it posturing on somebody else, than on yourself. That's because of the way that they use screens and things to mask their behavior from the general public. But this in itself is an entire course. I'm just trying to raise your awareness. And here we have an example of a woman who was followed for like 40 minutes. This is up in Canada. And he just kept following her. Even though she was recording him, he kept following her because he had his mask covering his face. And then ultimately she went to a skate park, got some help, and he ended up taking off, which, again, easily deterred when early identified. All right, how to know if you're being followed. We're gonna have to do a complete different episode on all this stuff because this is just a really quick breakdown as to mindset, guys. Remember, most people are good people. We want to look at the 5s and 25s are within that stone's throw. Remember, GRACE, the acronym: gender, race, activity, company, and then expectation. Where do we, or when do we look in the 5s and 25s? Gates and transitory spaces. And then what are we looking for? We're looking for obvious, anomalous, and nefarious behavior. We always want to stack the deck. And as soon as we get to 3 points, we need to either posture ourselves, get ourselves out of there, draw our weapon, whatever the context calls for. And by doing this, we are programming that reticular activating system neural network in the brain. And we are becoming that much more capable, guys, of seeing the moonwalking dancing bear when we're out and about in public doing our daily lives. So don't forget, most people are good people. Don't only see the good, just see what's present. And you'll see that most things are pretty pleasant to be experiencing. And so, hope that helps you guys out with your mindset training. Yeah, moving on.